Hey people, welcome to the Pathfinder podcast, and today I am with James Dole. On this episode, we are going to talk about our experiences at the URM Summit in Orlando, Florida in November of last year, 2018. Hope you enjoy. So James, good to talk to you. Tell us about yourself.
Hey, good to talk to you too, man. Been looking forward to this. I guess a little bit about me as far as why I do this or where I'm coming from. I guess I've been into music in general since I was really small. Like my dad was a drummer, and I've been sitting behind drums probably since before I could even walk. So been playing drums for a long time. And eventually in my teenager years or whatever, I picked up the guitar. So in general, I just kind of play drums, play guitar, play bass, do a lot of things. I've been in a lot of bands, more when I was younger. But as I just sort of explored being in bands and started learning about, recording or wanting to record bands, I or mainly, actually, for that matter, record myself, my own bands, and just started to get interested in it, and I bought like Pro Tools, and I think I had Pro Tools MP9 and like a little M-Box interface initially. And from there, I just, started surfing the web like most of us, looking for tutorials or looking for how to do this or that with Pro Tools, and definitely came across a whole lot of stuff. There was a lot of different, like the Recording Revolution was initially, I think, what taught me a lot of basics about Pro Tools. And then just over, I don't know, with social media coming into play, because I'm kind of older, so there wasn't always like social media and things like that, or even YouTube really, to like look for stuff, for information on how to do any of this stuff. But I eventually came across URM and joined Nail the Mix like on the first month, and which was November 2015, I guess. So it's going on over 3 years now that this has been a thing. But yeah, I just joined Nail the Mix and started learning how to actually mix and get better at just wanting to make myself sound better, or possibly, work with bands and make them sound good as well. So I guess all of those things, I suppose, led to going to the summit in November there. And yeah.
Love it. Man of many talents, and a guy who's been around for a good few years. An old school Pro Tools dude.
Absolutely.
During the summer, was there any things you were looking forward to before you arrived?
Definitely. I was definitely looking forward to just meeting in person. Like a lot of the guys, because a lot of us have become friends online. And maybe we've messaged back and forth or liked each other's Facebook posts, or just that type of thing, or within the group, even the private group. But just to actually get face to face with people you've been friends with for 3 years online. You actually, in particular, Danny, you were definitely one of the guys I was looking forward to meeting in person for sure, because we've been following each other on social media for a while because of the group and because of URM. But yeah, I think that's probably one of the biggest things, was just to actually get FaceTime with not just the the big dogs or whatever, like Joey Sturgis and Joel and Eol and everybody like that. But to actually meet some of the guys in the group, and connect,
That's great. I think it was similar for me. Like, tons of people that you've met over the years online, and then actually meeting them, and some of these people like live around the world, like America and Australia and so on, and then you finally meet them in person. It's like, wow, we're finally hanging out in person.
Oh, definitely, man. Yeah, that was really cool to meet people from everywhere, from all over the place.
For you during your time there?
I think one I look back on that always pops up. I mean, there were so many amazing, incredible moments, and it's been a few months since we were there to have them fresh in my head. But honestly, the one that always stands out to me was at one point I was in the swimming pool, and there was me and a couple other guys, but basically we were hanging out in this pool with Billy Decker, and it was probably a good 2-3 hours or something. And just to, and all of you, everybody knows who Billy Decker is. He's a huge mixing guy in the country world, and he's definitely big time, and to just kind of hang out in a swimming pool with a beer and shoot the shit with a guy like that, for a few hours and just talk shop, talk plugins, talk mixing, talk life in general, just hang out hanging out with him. It was kind of like hanging out with somebody I've known, even though I'd never met him in person before. So like that to me was a really cool moment, to just kind of hang out with Billy and just talk about life and everything else like that. It's just like something you'd never imagine happening, really.
Just having a casual chat with a guy who's got 15 number ones. Yeah,
like if it wasn't for URM and for the summit, you would never even have that type of opportunity, to just, not just him, of course, all the others too, but that one just stands out, I suppose, as one of the moments that I thought was really cool,
Basically summed up something that did, just so many great moments.
Totally.
What were your experiences of walking around outside of the talks?
It was, the only way I could describe it when I think about it is it was just like the most positive, I don't know, it was such a positive vibe and such a friendly vibe. Like it wasn't really awkward at all, like you would, maybe a little bit, but really it wasn't like awkward to just be around all these guys, like all the big dogs like Joey and like Bobershell or just or like Machine or all the different big mixers and stuff that were there. You almost might be a little bit nervous or something, but really it was really comfortable, really positive, and everybody was so nice, and and all the members of URM that were there. I think there was like 150 or so of us there, but everybody was just super nice, super positive. I mean, we just had a really, really good time. Everybody was, I don't know what else to say on that, man. It was just probably the most positive vibes I've ever felt in a place, ever. But it was cool, man.
I best just like repeat everything that you said, really, of just arriving there and just hanging out with these people who have made a massive impact on our lives, and like walking around to that Denny's and all the other restaurants and just talking to people like outside of the hotel and just getting to know people more, like being in your groups and stuff. Like when we went to Denny's at like 2 a.m. or something during the rap battle, just moments that like just having random walkabouts and just talking to people.
Yeah, I mean, not to toot on Billy anymore, but I think every time I crossed his path, like I'd be out in the lobby of the hotel room, and every time Billy saw me, he was just like, "Hey, James, man, hey, what's up?" And I was just like, "Whoa." So that was kind of cool,
Yeah, pretty mental, to be honest. Just some of the things that actually happened there, it's like just blows your mind. It's like, did that really happen?
Right?
What were your most valuable talk?
Man, that's a hard one because I think every second of that whole 4 days was really valuable. Like there wasn't one necessarily more than any other, but I suppose if I had to pick one, I think it was. I want to say it was towards the last day. I ran into Joey Sturgis and his wife, and out in the lobby, and finally got a moment to actually kind of hang out with them, and just talk to Joey, and because like a lot of us, I use a lot of his plugins, and I'm pretty geeked about. I don't know. Obviously, his work has definitely been a big influence on what I do because I use a lot of his tools. But I guess at the same time, I always felt like I connected with Joey because the way he produces music, he's very into like the cinematic, the explosions and the bombs and the bass drops and the, adding a lot of like really intense cinematic type elements to music to create sort of like an atmosphere. And that for me is kind of like I kind of dig the same vibe, I guess, with what I do. So I'm always like, whenever I'm writing a song or creating a recording or whatever, I tend to want to do that same type of stuff. So I guess he's definitely a big influence to me as far as my style of producing or recording. So to get to talk to him in person and just discuss that type of stuff and just, and shoot the shit. I mean, plus he's from Michigan and I'm from Michigan. So, so that's cool too, of course. So yeah, that was definitely one of the cooler ones, I guess, to me was meeting Joey.
Awesome. Thoughts when hanging out with all the speakers? Was there anyone that you were looking forward to the most?
The most. I guess I kind of almost just said that, but I'd have to maybe say it'd be a toss up between Kane maybe or Machine, because I'm a huge fan of Lamb of God, and so to meet Machine and talk to him was pretty overwhelming and pretty amazing because he's the man behind a band that's huge to me. But I guess the same with like Kane, meeting Kane and Kevin Churko. Like that was two that I definitely was looking forward to as well because and I don't even think I realized it until he kind of told some of his story. Kevin Churko, like he's responsible for a lot of the music that people like me at my age kind of grew up on, like the White Zombie and the Ozzy Osbourne and stuff like that, so to get to kind of hang out with the guy that helped put that stuff together and influenced my growing up and what music I listened to, so that was really super cool too.
Yeah, when I was looking at the pictures in his presentation, and you just saw the albums that Kevin worked on over the years. So like, this guy's worked with like some like legends that is like Ozzy Osbourne legend status. It's like some massive people, and now he's in the same room as us talking to us. Just like, right. Oh, okay.
No doubt. Yeah, I mean, that was cool. I mean, like I told you a little bit ago, I actually, I've got a picture on my wall of me and Kevin and Kane Churko, and I've got a beer, drink in my hand. And, I never thought I'd have cool shit like that sitting in my studio. So it's pretty epic, man.
You never know what life's going to throw at you.
No doubt.
You started implementing anything you've learned?
That's a hard one too, I guess. I'm just always trying not to waste too much time, trying to just, whether it's actually working with a band or just recording on my own or just, I don't know, just working in my studio or, watching Nail the Mix or watching the live. I'm just always trying to do more and trying to manage my time better. Cause I guess for me, I'm one of those guys that has like a normal job. So one of the most difficult things for me as far as trying to make this stuff become more my reality of what I do, is not wasting any time at all, like I work a lot of hours. So I try to just focus as much as I can and on learning and becoming better at the craft. And obviously, like most of us, I'm a bit of a gear guy.
Anything surprised you looking back?
I would say I was really surprised that that people knew who I was, I guess. It's one thing that I wasn't expecting as I landed in Florida and started meeting people. Like, a lot of people were coming up to me like, hey, you're James, and hey this and hey that. And I really, I guess when I think about myself being this sort of guy in Michigan in this bedroom doing what I do, and I just don't really realize how many people are paying attention, I guess, to the videos I do, if I'm live on Facebook or messing with, gear or whatever. I was just really surprised. Like, even Carson, after we watched Galactic Empire play, I went up to meet Carson, who was the bass player, and obviously him and his partner are the producers that worked with, like, August Burn was Red, I believe it was, and the one nailed the mix. But basically he's a big deal to me or whatever. So I like walk up and he's like, hey James, man, we're friends on Facebook, what's up? And I'm like, I didn't even know what to say. I didn't expect a guy like him to even recognize who I am, you know what I mean? So, and just in general, like all the people from the community too, I wasn't really expecting people to recognize me or know me, I guess, as much as they did. So that was surprising to me and really cool. It was super, super cool.
Yeah, just crazy experience. There's people come up to you and like, oh, you're this person, and I sometimes didn't recognize their face, so I was just like, and you are, and then it's like, oh, you're this person. So yeah, it was just pretty crazy, like just that we were saying earlier, meeting people online, getting to know them, and then when you actually finally see them in person, it's like we're finally hanging out.
Yeah, it really changes the vibe when you get to go face to face. It really, to put a face with with it all or whatever. It just it changes things, and it's just more of a actual connection. Something that could last. And I think I don't think you know who you're going to connect with until you've been there for a few days, and you start to, you'll end up, you sort of lean towards this person or that person. I mean, you're trying to meet everybody, I think, like you want to meet everybody and get as much FaceTime with, everybody you're wanting to meet as you can. But as days go on, you kind of start hanging around the same people, or like, almost like little cliques or something sort of form, I think. You just find that you bond with certain people, I think, and you really can't do that over the internet. You don't really know who you'll truly bond with until you're actually in person, I think. And so that was cool,
Yeah, I definitely agree with that, because there was some people who I didn't know existed, especially in URM, who I bonded with so well, and now I'm like really good friends with them. And it's all about just meeting in person and just clicking. Because when we first met, it was just after that a few years of hanging out on Facebook, and then just saw you walking up to the reception area, and I was just like, just looked and like, James is here. So that was a cool moment.
Right on.
Advice to people on the fence about going.
I definitely, if you're thinking about going to Summit, don't even hesitate. Like whatever it takes. Like, I think when I went, I actually took a paycheck and I got one of those like instant cash sort of like payday loans or whatever. I put the two together and bought my ticket because I missed the first year, and I kind of regret that I didn't go the first year. And so when the second one came around, I was just like, there's just no way I'm missing this. There's no way I'm not going to be a part of this, because I just feel like it's something I need to do. Whether or not I become successful or become like a full-time audio guide, like, it doesn't even matter to me with that, as much as it's just like, it's the one time a year where I can just be with people like me, and so I'm making it part of my, just part of what I do, like, I think, however many years they decide to do it or whatever, I don't think I'm ever gonna not do it, because it's just too cool to miss, and after experiencing it, if anybody that hasn't gone yet and they're thinking about it and you're wondering about it, like, just do whatever it takes to go, because you will not regret it even a little bit. I mean, you'll just, there's no words, and there's no way I can almost describe the type of the things that you'll take home with you afterwards, you know, like the experiences that you'll gain. It was incredible. It was probably the coolest 4 days of my entire life.
I couldn't agree more, to be honest. The amount of knowledge that you gain and friendship that you make and connections is best. It would be the best week of your life, to be honest.
Absolutely.
Great. I think that wraps everything up for this episode. Thanks, James. I hope you had a good time.
Oh, it was totally fun, man. Hopefully we do it again sometime. It's great talking to you, man.
Awesome.